We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with, all members are present, Scott's virtual, and we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thanks, one nation. To this one, liberty, justice for all. Eric O'Connell, the reporter for the Harbor News, is the one other person on there, so we'll just put off to comments from the selectmen. Scott, do you have anything, Scott Gingrich?
I have a brief comment. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I comment about our budget process. It has been an inclusive of all stakeholders, quite deliberate and rife with back and forth. And I think that's part of the process that we need to embrace. We have embraced, and it yields most likely a budget that's representative of the needs of all the people in this town, recognizing our zeal for quality of life and great services. And I think that we meet those needs over time, and I appreciate being part of the process, and I'm glad to see it move forward with a little bit of movement that I think we'll hear about from the Board of Ed in the very near future.
All right, thanks, Scott. Jane?
Yes, Jane Wazlowski, Selectmen. I just wanted to commend our Public Works group for wow, what a great effort over this yet another weekend storm, and this one was the biggest yet. Let's hope that's it. But wow, it was pretty amazing how quickly they had the roads plowed down to the concrete, and so I just want to say thank you for all that. As for the budget process, as a new selectman, it's been a real learning opportunity, and it's been really great to have that opportunity to hear from all the different departments. Very helpful to me, and certainly learned a lot about communication and working together and keeping everything out in the open. I think transparency just makes it so much better for everybody, because one thing you don't want is surprises. So that's it was a really good learning opportunity for me. Thank you.
Okay. I have a couple things. Carl Fortuna, first selectman. All right, let's see here. We did make an offer to a new maintainer too, just so you know, there were 2 openings. I think we heard that. We've made an offer and it was accepted.
For Public Works?
Public Works, yeah.
Do they have a CDL?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to remind everybody the public hearing on the budget is next Tuesday at the middle school. I believe at 6:30. We have, I think, 3 RFPs about to go out. I mean, a lot going on, very busy. Zoning's very busy too, but the seawall RFP we're going to send out very shortly to get some prices on that down at Saybrook Point. The Saybrook Junction LOTCIP LOTSIP grant, that's about a $3.5 million grant that we received. Will be going out probably in the next month or so.
What's that for?
So that'll be sidewalks on Stage Road, from North Main Street to Route 1 and then down Route 1. I think I've talked about it before.
Yep.
And then connecting the sidewalks that don't exist between the gas station at the corner of North Main and Route 1 and Elm Street in front of the shopping center.
Is that like Sunoco?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's some sidewalks and there's not sidewalks, and then, so it will connect everything back onto Main Street, obviously. Big project, and expensive project, but it's a federal grant that flows through the state. And we received it 7-8 years ago. It's for a lot of reasons. This is where we are right now, but it's very close to going out to bid.
And that's only on that side of the road, Boston Post Road.
Boston Post Road from
On
Beer
that
Lumber and CVS to 6 Main
Okay.
to
Both sides of
Saybrook
the street?
Home. both sides.
Okay, okay,
Now, sidewalks exist on both sides, but they're in
They're not.
very, very poor shape.
okay.
And then a crosswalk from Saybrook Home to Starbucks. Will
Okay,
be
yeah,
so that'll now be a four-way. May not make everybody happy, but that's what it will be.
It will be a forward,
Yeah, because you can go from the,
like the train station road
mhm,
by Monkey Farm,
mhm.
Yeah,
Boston Post Road, and Main Street.
the only place there's not a crosswalk
Okay,
is from Saybrook Home to that side of the street.
to
Starbucks.
Starbucks,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I mean, that to me is Main Street, a Main Street crosswalk. Is it?
It is essentially, yeah.
Okay,
But it's just part of this project. Last Friday, we had an informational meeting with, members of the Board of Trustees of the Cape. And our financial advisor, and our bond counsel, Matt Ritter, actually. Matt Ritter, Speaker of the House, is Old Saybrook is a client of Shipman and Goodwin for certain things, and it's Matt's account. And Danielle Braun up there was on vacation, so Matt covered. So we were in a meeting with Matt just to talk about the process, because a lot of people are unfamiliar with it. The town has done some refinancings in the last time we did it was 2019, when interest rates were very low. But the last time we actually went out to the market for a new issuance was 2014, 13, 14 or so. So we met with bond counsel, we met with our financial advisor, and a group of people who had some interest in learning about the process and how that process might move forward. So we had that meeting. The Garden Club received a grant. I don't know if you guys know this, Jennifer Donahue, working with the Main Street, Connecticut Main Street, downtown, what is it called? So Connecticut, I think it's Connecticut Main Street, downtown Main Street, whatever it is. So the Garden Club applied for a grant. Jennifer helped with it, and they received a $4,000 grant. So as many of you know, the beds, a lot of the gardens on the sidewalks, like in front of Waltz, and there's a lot of these little gardens all along Main Street. I think there's about 19 of them. The Garden Club received this grant, and they're gonna do an initial cleanup and planting. And then what we've done is actively solicited people who will adopt those little gardens. We all walk Main Street. I'm out there, I look at these things, it makes me crazy. And you know, that this year with the finishing of the crosswalks, with the repaving of the parking stalls, with coupled with the money that we're putting aside to replant across the street in those gardens in the parking lot. The chamber building, we're having somebody take over that building to make it, maintain it and replant it. Not totally replant it, but do some cleaning up. And then town hall needs a lot of work. Town hall's a mess out front.
yeah,
And I'm just sick of looking at unkept properties. And then what we do is we react and we get Mr. Castro in here. He does a fabulous job, but it's reactive to weeds. And so what we're doing is a lot more ground cover and a lot more proactive care. And I'm hopeful that Main Street and the buildings that the town owns on Main Street that people might see are just gonna really look great this year. I mean, it just happens that this is all coming together right now. So, I really want Main Street to look great this year, just shine. And, so that's what looks like is happening. And the Garden Club, of course, is a partner like they always are. Tonight, you might have seen, I don't know if it's already, it should be on the electronic signboards, there's a parking ban tonight on Main Street after 8 o'clock. You know, let's face it, nobody's much out to dinner beyond 8:30. I actually made it 9 o'clock, but there's so many piles of snow on Main Street. Bill is having them removed. He brought in B&L and Duncan Downey, some triaxles, and there's a couple loaders. I got a notification from Deep, this hasn't happened in probably 12 years. Where they're allowing us to empty snow or dump snow into a water source. They typically don't allow that, because of oils and sand and salt, and they don't want that in the water source, but. Last Monday afternoon, I popped in towards the end of the day, and that was one of the emails that came in, and I'm like, oh my God. So I immediately filled out the form. I gave 2 locations where we might dump snow into the Connecticut River or snow that might end up in the Connecticut River. And one of them is at Coulter Street, the old Crab Road, or even on the leaf dump, dumping it over onto the bank of the leaf dump, which will end up in the river. And also the town launch in North Cove. Right there. So we are allowed to do that. And Bill is gonna take advantage of that tonight. Because we're gonna get a lot of snow off Main Street, right? I mean, I was at Stop and Shop before I came here. It's a hazard to go to Stop and Shop right now.
It's dangerous, right?
When
Yeah.
you're pulling into where the parking spots are, I'm like, I'm surprised it's like that right now. So we're trying to obviously have that not happening on Main Street. You know, one of the other things that Bill is doing, he's hired Larry Bonin. Larry has a little mini. We don't normally clear public sidewalks, but Larry is doing that at least for the grammar school and the middle school, just so people can walk on the sidewalks, especially the kids.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Really good to hear.
What's that?
That's great to hear.
Yeah, oh, we did it last time too.
Mhm.
It just didn't extend much beyond that, as you know. But we want to do that at least for those 2 schools, and I guess, I don't know what Bill has directed him to do beyond that, but a lot of it's been done already.
Mhm.
But anyway, so tonight, if you're out and about, you will see Larry, you'll see the trucks on Main Street clearing snow. And lastly, the Chili Fest was canceled, which is this Saturday for reasons that there's a lot of snow on Main Street. And there will be even after tonight, but they're trying to reschedule it. And got an email for a date. I forget whether it's the last Saturday in March, and there's a lot going on that Saturday. The Kate has an afternoon show. Ray has some Easter bunny, Easter stuff,
Oh, it's
and
Easter early this year.
the No Kings Rally
Oh,
is that
yeah.
day. So I don't know that it's a good day to do that. Now, the Chili Fest typically goes from 11:30 to 3. The rally, I understand, is 10 to 12-ish. But if the Kate has a fair few people, and then Ray has some stuff going on, and then you have the rally, and then the Chili Fest, I just don't know that we have the capacity, to be honest with you, on Main Street, for all that to happen. So, I'm not gonna make that decision. I'm gonna let the chief of police weigh in. Deb Shaw has been notified of these other proposed possible activities. I'm also gonna let the chamber know that they may not wanna do it that day, right? So,
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm not here to tell anyone they can't do anything. Deb, you know, previously we've denied, certain political groups typically from entering onto the green, but that didn't make sense. Deb emailed me and said probably a constitutional right to gather on the town green.
Mhm.
And
peacefully.
oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah, certainly with this, but so that is allowed to happen on the town green. What I don't understand is because they had to get a permit through Park and Rec, Ray has these other things going on, so I'm not sure if Ray realized that, because he's got this Easter bunny hop thing going on, and it says town green. And Ray is the one who should have seen
Yeah.
that, so I emailed Ray
Yeah,
that.
I don't know off the top of my head.
This all happened in
When
the
is
last
Easter?
2 hours,
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
way.
yeah.
So-
When is Easter?
Okay.
Cause I don't know if that's the bunny, if it's the egg hunt. That seems a little early
I think Easter's the 3rd of April.
of April. See, so,
So it would be the following week, so it's not early,
okay,
so.
yeah. I mean, it's early-ish. I think the earliest,
It's Palm Sunday,
Easter
it's the
usually.
29th of March, so it's April 5th.
yeah. So I think he usually does the egg hunt the week before. So yeah, I think you're right.
So
Egg
letting,
hunt's big.
I'm letting, all that information went out to the various parties like after 3 o'clock today. So
Okay,
we'll see where it all goes and, everybody's willing to try to figure it out and work together. It's up to the chamber as to what they'd like to do. So with that, we'll move on to the minutes, which are in the packet. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes,
second,
seconded by Jane Wazowski. Any comments? So just so you know, I am using an AI tool, but I'm then going back in and filling in the gaps, sending them to you guys for any comments. I'm not sure if it's saving me a lot of time yet, but I think it will as we keep doing it. Whatever, I don't have to, anyway, but
well, I think it's great that you're trying.
I
so.
really wanna use it as a tool. I mean, it's, and by the way, if it's a really great thing to use, I mean, obviously, all the boards and commissions should start considering using it. Just to get a rough draft of the minutes and then they can
Yeah.
check their own recordings and,
There's no downside.
There is
you know,
no
it's only
downside.
upside.
good tool. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 So the first thing, I'm gonna hop over to Mr. Carlson in 1 second. So Bill Clappy's not here today. Just so you know.
Surprise.
know. I told him, I said, Bill, we'll put it off 2 weeks, 4 weeks. He's like, great. Just to give you an idea of what he's trying to do here is these fees have not been updated. So the date of the chapter 118 says May 12th, 2014. That doesn't mean the fees were updated then. It means some language may have been updated. The fees are really old in the transfer station. And basically it's for bulky trash, couches, shingles, and for brush. And so he is proposing to just change some of the fees and streamline this section. Since it's an ordinance, it would have to go to a town meeting. So I'm gonna let Bill come in. I don't think you have anything on this, or did I?
I have not seen anything. I'm like, did I miss an attachment?
You
or-
didn't.
Okay, that's fine.
Because we were gonna table it
Okay.
and, but. So, basically it was gonna be, I'll let Bill explain it next time he comes in, but we're gonna table this for now. And we'll go from there. So with that, so I'll make a motion to table discussion, possible action on fees for bulky trash and brush. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Wasowski. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. Wow. Do you have an agenda that says what the next action item is?
Well, the Mariners Way.
Yeah, okay, that-
And then appointment for the lower.
Yeah, okay.
the river.
I have a different older agenda,
You
so
want this one?
we'll turn it over to Bruce. This is just a discussion.
Yes.
And so Bruce Carlson, Bruce, why don't you, former chairman of the Board of Finance, why don't you explain your role right now and we'll leave it to you.
Great, thank you very much. So I'm the chairman of the Mariners Way Redevelopment Ad Hoc Committee. We are a small but mighty group of 6. Lots of different talents on the group. You'll see, and I'll just go to the first slide, we'll be able to. So it's, I wanted to do this in 3 slides, but then I decided I'd throw some pictures in. So, but we're basically doing how we got here, where we are, and where we're going. And then there's a discussion slide at the end. So just very quickly for people who have followed this along the way, there was a task force in 2012. Bartram and Moses did an economic analysis as part of that. Then the Mariners Way plan got adopted into the town's plan of conservation and development. 2016, the town applied for and got a brownfields grant. And that started a planning project, which ultimately was done through Civic Moxie, which was an outside planning group. They brought in a couple of other consultants, which you'll see in just a couple of minutes. And one of the things that came out of that was the concept of developing a tax increment finance district for Mariners Way. And so in 2018, that district was created. There was also a district master plan that was created as part of that, which is part of what the statute requires for a tax increment finance district. Then things went dormant for just a little while, and in 2023, Carl appointed a group to work with Camoin, another planning and economic analysis group. They did their study between 2023 and 2024. And last April, the Mariners Way Redevelopment Ad Hoc Committee was formed. We initially had 6. Tina Rupp was on it. She ran for planning, was voted in by the voters, and so she dropped from our committee. But then we've just recently gotten another person on that who's going to be very valuable because of her design background.
Oh, great. Do we appoint them?
Emily,
Emily.
you guys did that 2 meetings ago.
Right.
So that's great. And we'll come back to that because I think
Yep,
that might be over. So that's where we were. Where we are right now is we had started, our first meeting was April 29th of last year. Between, as I say, we're 6 people. We all came in with slightly different levels of understanding about Mariners Way. So April to June was really bringing everybody up to a common place. There was a lot of reading material for people to take a look at. Then the summer hit, and as we all know, not a lot happens during the summer. So we had 1 meeting during the summer, but came back in September, and the thought was that there were 3 critical paths to success. First one being soils. If there is, if you're going to do redevelopment, you have to have some place where you can do the redevelopment. And the first thing in this town, because we don't have sewers, you need to understand what's the wastewater capacity of the soils. So one, and there's also a significant amount of wetland out along Mariners Way. So being able to understand where are the wetlands, what are the soils composition, how that is going to be a critical step for understanding what's developable and what isn't. Another thing that came up, particularly if you remember all the studies that I showed you on the previous slide, one of the issues from what some of my communication with some of the business and property owners, and I think Camoin kind of found this out too, was there was not a lot of communication in past studies with them, and they wanted to be part of it. You'll see one of the recommendations from Camoin is to kind of formalize working with them. So that was a second subgroup that we set up within our group. Then the last is streetscape improvements. And the streetscape improvements, to me, was the idea that in order to show the world, not only the people along Mariners Way, but the town, and frankly, the development community, that the town is interested in moving something forward. The streetscape is something that is really within, that's the public part of what's there. That's something over which we have control. And so how can we move forward on those streetscape improvements? And then the last thing is the question around, we're just beginning work on developing the zoning amendment. So this is where a couple of pictures come in. We had the Camoin study when they came out, they had 10 revitalization initiatives. And I just, I think people need to know that of the 10 that got proposed, 5 are currently underway, a couple of them are later, and so but we're taking a look at these 5 to try to move them forward kind of in a parallel fashion. And that's really what the game plan for 2026 is. So where are we going? So first thing is, we've developed this RFP and working with Jacobson and to do the soils analysis. And interestingly, ahead of us is the work that's already been done on Main Street for the Main Street grant. And that is wonderful because they've really refined what needs to happen, and what we need to have happen along Mariners Way is very similar at that phase 1 level of just what are the soils, and what could they what could they hold? And so, not saying what should be there, not saying anything along those lines, but just what's possible. So that's we're kind of coming down to the end of that process. We'll have an RFP ready to rock probably in the next by the end of March, but possibly even before.
And it's an RFP to do what?
RFP to come in and do the same kind of study that they've been doing on Main Street, to really do the analysis, to separate out, exactly where the wetlands are, to do and it's all desk analysis. So there won't be any digging of pits or anything along those lines. It's all just what the health, the regional health group and what the town has that they can utilize to be able to take a look at that. And then we're also looking at this possibility around a centralized wastewater system, because there's some parts of Mariners Way that are on, we know that they are on rock, and couldn't develop that unless you had a way to move the wastewater to a centralized system. So we're looking, as part of this process, we're looking at that. I've been meeting with the major property owners. That's almost done. Been very good. There's different levels of interest, but I would say nobody's kicked me out yet. We have, and I think people are delighted to know that we're reaching out to them, asking them what their plans might be, how we might be able to work with them. I'm planning to go out with at least one, if not a couple of the committee members when the weather gets better, and just knock on doors for the business owners, because many of the business owners are not the property owners. Property owners, have the building, business owners run the businesses within the building. So we also want to know not only what the property owners are thinking, but also the business owners. So we'll be knocking on doors and talking to the business owners. And then I'm planning a kind of end of March, early April forum that we would invite, the Mariners Way community to be able to get a better understanding, and that let them see some of the work and some of the thinking that we're doing, which I'll be showing you tonight, as well as hearing from them about what they are expecting.
One quick thing, as you're developing these relationships with people, I don't know if we have any kind of a database that we're keeping on business owners in different areas. That could be really helpful, so that if we've got, a list of business owners, a list of businesses, and, like you were saying, it's not necessarily the same people for each of the properties, and then an email, maybe to contact each one of those different, because there may be a situation where we want to send out a survey, or, just, if we're going to have a meeting, just send it out via email. I think that could be really helpful for us to have in a lot of places in town, like today with the snow, hey, make sure you're, because, it'd be great if we had it in a quicker electronic format than, I don't know how we have it.
Yeah, we don't have it for every part of town, but for instance, we have all the beach associations. We have a Main Street, there is it's not the Main Street Business Association, they call themselves
Mhm.
something else now, so we have a contact there.
Mhm.
And they disperse information through a group for Main Street and a little bit on Route One. That's what I know we have.
Mhm. And we could probably work with the chamber. I don't wanna
Yeah,
and then
deviate
the
here,
chamber,
but,
right.
it'd be useful as time goes on.
Your point is very well taken, and that is exactly what the plan is, because we want, when we are, one of the people on the committee is both a business and property owner on the, along Mariners Way. And so she had done a little bit of outreach in the fall, and that was her pitch was, things are gonna happen. You need to stay in touch. We need to know how to get in touch with you. And so she's actually started a spreadsheet where we have, by address, what the business is, who the contact is, and what the contact information is.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, as simple as that is,
Yeah.
that works.
Exactly. So that's where we're going.
Right.
And then on Streetscape, I want to show you. This is our, the plan. This comes from Freeman, which was actually, in the Civic Moxie study. And what that is effectively
Okay.
so we are, so anyway, so the plan is we can fit this design, which is a, similarly sized roadway, as well as a separated, what I'm calling a multimodal path that would be both a bike and a walking path along that. And that, if you think about on the left is the south side of Mariners Way. So think of this as you're looking at Mystic Market. So that's the
Is the south side the Cloud9 side?
Yeah.
Cloud9 side.
Okay.
Right, so this would be along the Cloud9 side. What this is not showing, what we've asked Jacobson to take a look at as they set this up, is also a sidewalk on the north side, because there's
Mhm.
going to be activity along the north side as well, and
So it'd be symmetrical.
it would not be as big as the major route for pedestrians and bikes going down to the river would be on what you see there. It would just be something for the businesses to have a sidewalk on the
Okay.
north side to be
Great.
able to do that. Also, the thought is that where 1 and 154 meet right there at Mystic Market is a pretty wide area. And one of the ways in which we've been describing Mariners Way is that it's both a place as well as a gateway to the river. And so we've asked Jacobson to take a look at that intersection, and just at that intersection have some type of center median that would maybe have a sign on it saying, welcome to Mariners Way, or something along those lines that could be planting. But also it's a pedestrian refuge for trying to get
Right,
across the whole, that'll.
Kind of like by Henny Penny, there's that little, it's just
Yeah.
a small little triangle kind of, okay,
Right, exactly right. Or, down by, at Maple,
yeah.
where Maple comes into Main Street there. So anyway, so not a big deal. We're very aware because of some of the businesses there are utilizing 18-wheeler trucks that we want to make sure that we're still accommodating what the current businesses need as we anticipate what new businesses might want. So think about that, our responsibility on the TIF district goes all the way to Glade along Ferry Road and a little bit around the corner. And then the question is, how do you get from there along Ferry Road and down to the river. And so you don't have, now we're no longer the state's Route 1. It's a town road, Ferry Road. It's less width of what the right of way is. And so we wouldn't be able to maintain that same separated multimodal path. So one of the questions which I'll be coming back to you guys with in just a couple of minutes is, this is really out of our scope, because it's no longer Mariner's Way, but, you know, do we want to have within Mariner's Way a pathway to nowhere? You know, should we be thinking about how do we join that? And particularly as development hopefully begins to build down at, between the bridges, getting from here to there, you know.
Would that be great?
Right, so we've got an idea, and we'll look at how we might be able to move on that. And then, just so you know, again, going back to Civic Moxie, when that first look was taken along, they already went through and looked at where potential curb cuts could be eliminated in order to be able to allow for these kinds of passages to be safer for pedestrians and bikes. And as you can see, most of those curb cuts are on the north side of the of Mariners Way rather than south side, just one, two really on the south side as it goes forward. So anyway, it's where we are with that is we're at the last step. Jacobson just sent us yesterday the kind of final scope for phase 1 of doing this. I don't have a dollar figure attached to that yet, but the hope is that, you know, if our committee approves it, we'll get a sense of dollars, and then I can be telling you a little bit about it. What I mentioned to you before about going forward with looking at zoning, you see, this is a zoning map. See my cursor? Yeah. So this is 95.
Okay.
This is Mariners Way area all in here, but you have all of these different zones all together. And so one of the things that we want to be taking a look at is kind of what is possible within the zones. You can, you know, I'm be happy to send this whole presentation to Carl and he can get it out to you guys if you want to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, well, I'd like the presentation at least so I can just attach it to
Yeah,
the
to the
minutes
minutes, yeah.
also.
So anyway, so that will be, but you'll see what is currently allowed in that. And then what we are beginning to look at is then this is recommendations of Camoin as being kind of the top things that, activities that could be along Mariners Way. And it's very small, you can't really see it, but unfortunately, many of those things are potentially doable by special exception within the zones that are currently there. And the development community really does not like to do things by special exception because there's a lot of uncertainty associated with that. So one of the things that we're talking about is being able to come up with a zone amendment for the TIF district for the Mariners Way that would incentivize or promote being able to do these things, not eliminating what's already there, but being able to add these things, but have them be there as of right, rather than a constant battle. Because what I'm told is, you know, when the developer has to come in 3 or 4 or 5 times and have a meeting or committee meeting, that's, you know, $10,000 to $15,000 out of pocket. And as one housing developer said to me, you want affordable housing, but I have to come back 6 times, and so I've just spent an extra $75,000 on, you know, so, you know, it's, if we can do this in such a way where all of us are comfortable with it, and that's really what we need to do. Luckily, Casey Ann is on the committee, former town planner for Wallingford, and she's great, and so we'll be I'm learning a lot from her. We've already reached out to Chris, so we'll be getting a lot of input from her, and we'll see where we go with this. So some quick topics that I just wanted to raise. Already mentioned, we're ready to issue the RFP for contract for work, however it works out. On streetscape and soon on soils analysis, I wanted to make sure that the Board of Selectmen was aware of what we're doing. Once I have dollar amounts associated with that, plan to get it to Carl for approval. I don't know, Carl, whether you need to bring it back to the full board, or it would be that we've got three funding sources currently. One is there is a TIF and off budget account for TIF, which is currently has about 100 and maybe $160,000-$170,000 in it.
What's that?
The tax increment finance district, and the way in which that district was set up was it allows for every year for there to be a review of whether there's been any property value increase, and then 50% of that value increase goes into this fund, and the use of that fund can be for infrastructure or anything within the TIF district.
It can be for a very wide ranging amount of things. It can be
Exactly.
used. If you wanted to do a project that involved bonding, you can use some of that money.
Mhm.
What kind of money are we talking about?
Well, right now.
That's
it's-
what, that's in
In
the
the
fund?
tip? Yeah,
100.
Yeah, it's about 160, 170,000.
okay.
But as work happens there and property values go up as a result of work,
Inherent,
and
right.
then, then
Okay.
you begin to recur. And so that's,
So,
if one were to look out over 10 years or, 20 years for bonding, that's how one could take a look at that. Another resource is the cannabis fund. The cannabis fund is a result of Fine Federal being located there. State statute says that 3% of their gross is available to the town. That represents about $20,000 a month.
so right now it's 20,000 a month.
Right.
That's nice.
It's crazy.
And that fund is probably close to $300,000.
300, and we spent about 65,000.
Doing the road.
So we did a civil engineering survey of what are the boundaries of the road.
Mhm.
So we know the parameters in which we're working.
Right,
So we know exactly what the state right of way is there,
exactly, right.
which is important.
So,
You could never get that money. I mean, hey, folks, I want $65,000 to do a survey of Route 1 because we might have this project coming in 10 years from now, and look at you like,
right. So the good news is
great.
those funds are in place. The types of uses that we're talking about are already, approved as part of those funds. So, it'll be up to the Board of Selectmen as to what the approval process is, but just a heads up, coming forward with a request in the very near future. The multimodal path to the river is, we need a couple of creative solutions. If you look along here, Ferry Road, we have the same problem, Carl, that you have over by Staples relative to a sidewalk, trying to cross that particular spot there. Now, there's this is,
Trying to cross, what spot is that?
you see where there's like a little creekway and marshlands right there.
Is that right? Is that the soccer field, the green spot?
Yeah, the soccer
Okay.
field's up there, so
Okay.
and this is the Hope
Yep.
housing, and then this is the
Okay,
marsh area, and so trying to get over that is an important thing. But our friends at Jacobson, they approved, or they worked and got this kind of
that's pretty.
set up, and that's in Woodbury. So that's been improved, it's built, and so it's possible to do. It will take a certain amount of permitting, it'll take a certain amount of things. But if we wanted to do that kind of extension down to Ferry Road, that will be an impediment that we just have to work with to make it happen.
How long a stretch is that? That,
To be honest, I don't know.
yeah,
It's not that big.
I mean, I can envision it, of course. Because if the south yard and the north yard get redeveloped. And in theory, you have some sidewalks there,
Yeah.
and then it's just connecting
Mhm.
that stretch.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you go back to that?
Pardon me?
Go back to that?
Sure. Oops, sorry. That bridge.
No, the map, yeah, that.
So basically where Ferry Road is printed to the F,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know.
It's a soccer field. I mean, oh, sorry, what?
So the soccer field, what Carl is saying, down at the curve of Ferry
Yeah.
Road, down by the water.
Yeah,
Then just below that is the south yard where there's development has been talked about. And just above that is the north yard where there's clear development. I'm hoping to
That's-
move forward.
that's between the Bridges property, right?
That's in litigation right now.
Yeah,
That's gonna resolve itself this year though,
good.
Right.
really good.
And so as they move forward, being able to make that connection between where we're doing it Mariners Way and what they're doing, that Ferry Road connection really becomes very important. Okay?
Mhm.
You took a deep breath.
No, I know, I mean,
Okay, so then.
Yep.
A couple of other things that are a little more esoteric, one is, how do we get across the train tracks? Right now,
By Mystic Market,
well.
what train tracks?
And from anywhere from where the train station is to where Mariners Way is. Ideally, in my mind, the best place to cross would be right at the train station and being able to go up that spur that comes out onto Mill Rock and then come out by Mystic Market and then go down 154. So go down Route 1. So you could do that. It's gonna be.
You mean people who are leaving getting off the train and trying to walk down? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, could do that, or, thinking about this as being, a gateway to something. So let's say if you get lots of bikers in town, you could get people who are on bikes or walking from Main Street, go up and over, and then be able to walk down, Mariners Way all the way to the river, and be on, safe travel. So it's,
as opposed to the way they go now.
right.
That's what you're saying,
Exactly.
an alternate way.
Right,
That little junk, that thing, like between CVS and Mystic Market, that
right.
sketchy
Yes.
little
Right.
part, okay.
And that sidewalk is not very wide and it's, a lot of people have raised concerns about it. And so is there a different way for us to be able to do this? Who knows? But I'm just raising this as being not something we're answering today, but something that for us to be transit oriented, district or something along
It
those
is.
lines.
It's been whispered for years to try to get over the train tracks at the train station. Onto Old Middlesex Turnpike, then onto Mill Rock Road. And we're having some discussions. I mean, the problem is you're dealing with Amtrak. That's
Mhm.
problem number one, and 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mhm.
So, but we're hoping to get the state of Connecticut talking about it, and if there's a housing possibility on the other side, then the state of Connecticut might be a lot more interested in assisting us with this through how we're going through the Connecticut Municipal Development Authority, housing, and so those discussions are a long ways off, but it is something we're talking about.
Right. So and being able to do something there, I think then confirms this whole district area as being, transit oriented, which then unlocks a good amount of state money. There's a real amount of focus, both at the, throughout actually state government, not only at DOT, but at economic community development, Department of Housing. So people want to support that. Another thing to just bring up, again, not looking to get an answer tonight, but something to think about, is the expansion of the TIF district to the, between the bridges area. Basically allowing that whole area to be generating revenue that could then come back and be working, doing very, as Carl said, various different things for that area. So, one of my committee members, when I talked about this last night, said, well, that means if do we want to do two districts or one? If we do one district, then could the Between the Bridges project kind of reach into the tip monies that have already been collected for Mariners Way? And so, you know, I said, oh, man, I hadn't really thought about that, but I think it's just raising it and being, I think ultimately it would be a good idea, even if it's its own TIF district, for a TIF district to be set up there along the Between the Bridges area. Incorporating it into Mariners Way does, in my mind, make a certain amount of planning sense, but that could be, we can talk about that. Renaming the committee, in talking to some of the folks out there, the idea of Mariners Way Redevelopment Ad Hoc Committee, which is what we're currently known as, scares them, quite frankly. The idea is we're coming in, knocking down your building, and, you know, where revitalization is kind of a softer word. We might be doing, storefront revitalization. You know, we would be helping the business than limited.
That seems better.
So-
Who would have to weigh in on that?
This is the group that set us up, so you make the laws, you can change them.
We'd have to sunset one and, or maybe it could just be a
I think,
technical
yeah,
change.
I think you can just do that. And then finally, two of my committee members were appointed for a year in order to stagger. And so they're already up for reappointment. It's the Board of Selectmen that appoints them, so sometime in March, it would be helpful to
Yeah,
have.
Georgianne will be on, yeah.
Yeah.
When I get that, when I get your presentation, I'll make sure she sees that.
Okay, what's odd is that Emily's filling Tina Rupp's position. The document I got said Tina was appointed through March 27, though Emily's appointment letter says 27.
I'll talk to her. Georgianne does all my appointments, so I'll just talk to her.
Okay. So anyway, so that is that, and I think that is the extent of what I wanted to talk about tonight. And I appreciate taking the time and happy to answer any questions you have.
A lot of fun, a lot of excitement, potential.
It's. So I'll say thank you, and particularly to you, Bruce, for taking this on, because it's kind of this amorphous thing that's out there that I know you're trying to come up, trying to herd cats kind of to get it to like this, and it may take time. I mean, this is not something that's next year. I mean, there's going to be change, but it might be incremental, then it might gain momentum. But I mean, that this is huge, big picture kind of thinking, and it's just probably not within the bandwidth of what's currently in town hall without someone else spending a heck of a lot of time on it. And so I appreciate your effort very much. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
And all this looks good. I will be interested in seeing what some of those bids come back at, on the RFPs, as you noted. Yeah, I mean, I don't have much. I mean, I've been kept up to date a little bit here and there, so. Scott, I'm sorry,
You're gonna unmute him. Or did you mute him or?
Yeah, I'm fine. No, I muted myself. I'm fine. I appreciate Bruce's thorough presentation, and that's been a long time in the works, that whole process. It's interesting. It looks like it's moving forward.
well, it's been a long time. I mean, it was something Christine Nelson mentioned to me in 2012, and that's how that first group got formed, and That's when they called it they actually came up with the Mariners Way thing, I believe,
Mhm.
2012. And that was just a group of volunteers. Kristen Roberts was on it, a few people who are no longer in town. But you're still looking for one other person, correct?
Yes.
Possibly?
Yeah, it would be good to have somebody who has a background in development finance.
Yeah, that's what you mentioned.
Who understands that. It's not as critical as getting Emily on there. Emily's great because of her design background as we think about design standards in the zoning amendment. Perfect, it's a
right.
perfect fit. So that's gonna work.
And
out.
she's got some cred as
Yeah.
former chairman of the ARB.
Right,
So, yeah, Emily's a good egg. So.
all right, well, if there's no
Yeah.
questions,
No,
I'll,
good. I'm glad we had the time to do this with nothing else on the agenda really and didn't rush you.
no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just briefly, so we'll be hearing from you next. When I get the presentation, we'll talk about changing the name, we'll talk about the appointments, so that's easy stuff. We can get that on the agenda in the next meeting or two. And then we'll be looking at some action items to spend some money,
Right.
is my understanding.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And because that is in the zone where the cannabis location is, Bruce and I have talked about this, it's kind of our opinion that that money can be used. Because it ultimately will benefit, the idea is for it to ultimately benefit the community that that cannabis shop is in.
Right, and specifically in the law, it says infrastructure, so this is exactly what it would be used for, so.
But the fund, the revenue on that has been very consistent. Incredibly consistent at 20 grand a month.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
How
of
long has
money.
that been open? Couple of years or?
2 years,
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah,
Yeah.
with no like
I know, there's so much.
traffic,
I know,
you don't even know it's there.
right.
You don't know it's there. And, you know, there's a whole different debate as to whether it's good for you or not, but, you know, I mean, that's not for us to talk about right here. It's there, it's legal, and it is, obviously, we're sharing in that revenue. So, good.
There's,
Okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, I know, there's one more, yeah. Thank you.
thanks, Bruce.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, great to see you folks again.
Very thoughtful. Yeah, so the COG is looking for, they have an agricultural council and somehow Pete, I don't know if you know Pete Labriola. Pete used to be,
She related to Barbara?
what?
Related to Barbara?
No,
No.
no, Pete was on our public works crew for 30 years.
Okay.
And he lives up Oban Heights. Scott, if you need to run, you can run, honestly.
All right. I'm gonna go there. Thanks.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
yeah. And he has a cow, I think, and he's got some,
That's a what, a
and
cow?
he has
Like
a,
a dairy cow?
yeah, I think.
Okay.
He lives way up on Oban Heights. If you go all the way up and.
Yeah, I've been back there. Yeah, it's cool.
And I don't even know how it came about. He was talking to someone and they said, oh, the COG is looking for somebody, and he contacted me and said, hey, I was talking to somebody. And then the COG contacted me and said, we spoke to Pete Labriola and he might be interested in being on this. And I'm like, that's great, that's fine. Pete's a little bit, living on the land. I wouldn't call him a farmer, but he certainly has interest in this. So as far as I'm concerned, we can appoint him. I have no idea.
Do we
what-
have anybody on that
No,
council right now?
No.
Well, that's great.
I have no idea what his affiliation is either. So I'll move Pete Labriola to the Lower Connecticut River Valley Regional Agricultural Council.
Second.
And any discussion on that?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I have another meeting at 6:30, so.
Okay. So you need to grab some dinner in between.
No, it's gonna have to be after, I think.
All right.
So,
Motion to adjourn.
all right, I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So it's 6:02.